Hey, everybody, this is Jay Young, and we are here for episode 181. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Uh, just peachy keen. I had a few pretty incredible events this past week, so I'm excited to share a little bit about
Wow.
them on today's episode.
Awesome. We look forward to that. And we're here with Kirsten San Augustine. Kirsten, right? Kirsten? Yeah, hey,
Yes,
so glad to have you. I've heard so much about you, and I look forward to this. This is going to be a great episode. I look forward to it. Kirsten
same.
is
Heard amazing things about you.
well, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully, all from Jordan. Maybe
Yes.
not all from Jordan. Maybe you heard something else, but that'll be great. Appreciate that. A dedicated realtor who's made a significant impact on the Katy, Texas real estate market. So, Kirsten, we're glad to have you, and look forward to some great information today. We're going to learn a lot. Um, Before launching her real estate career, she was a sales and marketing manager for a custom home builder. We're going to hear about some of that today, gaining valuable insights into the industry and the home building process. Her passion, her true passion, really is helping others. I really feel like helping others is her signature. That's what she likes to do. I think that's why she helped Jordan. And we're going to hear some not complications, but some really,
I mean, it kind
yeah,
of
she's
is.
raising the bar on helping people when she helped Jordan purchase a house there. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding, Jordan. But I look forward to that. She's going to be great. And she also helps people with their credit scores. I mean, it's like, hey, whatever I can do to help you, that's what you have with her. So I look forward to watching the explosive growth in Katy, which I know it's incredible, the growth out there, but also how she hangs on and maybe some stories about what she's done to help others. So look forward to this. This is going to be great. Jordan, you want to start us off here and just start asking some questions to Kirsten? Y'all seem to know each other.
Yes, yes, very much so. Kirsten and I, we got connected through a mutual friend. She was actually looking to get some help with brand foundational like making her brand stand out because she was wanting to obviously sell more houses. She's an incredible real estate agent. And as we got to talking, I was like, you know what? I've really been considering buying a home. Like it's something that I'm really thinking about, but I really want to do it with a multifamily house because I want to do Airbnb and I want to subsidize that mortgage. I really think that that would be a smart way to approach this. And Jay, I think you and I were even talking about that multi-family home approach. And so we just started talking and getting connected. And then I was like, okay, well, actually, I think I'm going to wait. I was with my then boyfriend and we just couldn't figure it out. And then we found this amazing multi-family home and like could not have that.
Hmm.
And God was trying to say like, hey, maybe not. But my ex and I, we were just dead set on having that particular home. And I'll let Kirsten go through some of those details. But man, it was, what do we call that, Kirsten? The roller coaster home?
That was a roller coaster home. Definitely.
Just
For
because
sure.
of how to buy it, or after you bought it, you found out some surprises after. What do you mean? What was it easy to buy it? Was it easy for you guys to purchase?
No.
No, it
Not in
wasn't.
the aspect of financing. And the biggest difference is how the county was labeling the property. As far as even though it had three doors, it was marking it as single family, even though it was a triplex home. And so that difference of how the county had it worded put appraisers and all parties through a roller coaster. Um, and definitely a lot of calls to the county trying to get things changed. We had two appraisers on that specific transaction. We changed financing, I think, three times
Yep.
Wow.
throughout. I definitely asked Jordan a few times, was she sure this is what she wanted? We looked at other options, but that was the house ultimately that they want. And my job was to make it happen for them. So.
Wow.
And by golly, she made it happen. We ended up going with seller financing, and there were just some things that I learned along the way that I didn't know as a first-time home buyer, which is when you get your home appraised, I don't know if this is just by that certain appraiser, but you're locked into that for 6 months for that home. And
Yes.
so,
If
so
it's a
that
stay appraisal, it will stay with the house for 6 months.
Wow.
That
And
is.
so that locked us into a specific price point, and the seller did not want to go less than the price that he had determined. And so because we were locked into that one price because of the appraiser, we would have had to come up with the extra cash. And we did not have that. So then we were like, okay, well, we can't do, I think we tried to do conventional to start, but because there was a tax document that was not filed correctly, it
Mhm.
wasn't labeled as a multifamily home. And so we couldn't do the conventional loan. So then we had to go to the FHA. But then that got locked into that pricing for 6 months. And then after that, then we were like, okay, the only other option here is to do seller financing, which honestly, I don't know is like the worst idea. If you're working with investors, that was something that Kirsten had said. However, if you're not working with an investor, like investor to investor, I don't know that that's the best move. But yeah, we really had to like work to make that house work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Kirsten, I don't know if you want to add a little bit more flavor to the seller financing tidbit of it, because that was something I don't think a lot of people are aware of I mean, unless you're like a seasoned investor.
Yeah, I think seller financing is not a commonly used because you use traditional financing, which is your FHA, conventional, or even non-conventional. You'll see a lot more bank statement loans, which is really popular for entrepreneurs as well. Or you have your rehab loans and stuff like that. For owner financing, you do have similar as far as down payment, 20% or whatever you negotiate with that party, but the standard you see is about 20%. And with us, one thing I wanted to make sure was guaranteed is that we went through a third party owner financing escrow company so that we could guarantee that everything one was going to be reported. So you would be still having a mortgage score being built of some sort for later on, because when we talked, this was not a first stop investment. It was also later on, you wanted to have that as well. In addition to prepare you to refinance, because we set up that on that deal, you would refinance, I think, was it between 5 years or something like that?
Yeah, it was like 2 to 4, I think, or something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
3 to 5. Who knows? You're the expert. I was like, I don't know. I just blindly trust you. Kirsten's gonna take care of it all.
Yeah, I think that it works for if the non-conventional is not working and it's set like in cases where maybe they don't qualify, but then they have cash flow, what we call mattress cash. Those means it can be very beneficial to get you the property if it's working, but there's a lot of factors and back research to verify that one, that is the correct owner that can even sell it, and that they are able to sell the home entirety. Because another thing you have to be careful with is if they do not own the home completely and their mortgage company then says due upon payment if it comes to their attention. So there's many different things you have to look at as a safety precaution on the buying side in a owner financing situation.
Huh. Okay. So how many homes do you sell a year, or how many different? I mean, is it all in Katy? Is it all? I guess they're all pretty conventional.
I sell wherever my clients want to buy. So not just Katy. I do stay to the Houston market,
Mm-hmm.
but I have sold like out in like Page, Texas, clients who are looking further out, down in Alvin as well. So Houston region is
Yeah.
where I like to stay since I know, but because I do or used to live in Katy, now I live in Fulshire, I really do stay to the West Houston Energy Corridor um, area, I'd say more commonly. And
Yeah.
in regards to sales, last year I did 3.2 million in sales.
Wow. Great.
Um, so it's definitely, I know a lot of people slowed down last year with the changes with real estate, how they disclose how us realtors are paid and those sort of things. For me, things were really going good. And that was also with me stepping back and doing those rebranding as well last year,
Mm-hmm.
because I did less to do a longer term goal since the bulk of my business up till this point has been referral and word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
So
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of ways. I guess there's a lot. What are some of the best ways to generate leads for real estate agents, or are you looking on the? Do you deal more with the listing side of it, or do you deal more with the finding the buyer? So there's two different ways to
I feel,
make money, right?
yeah, of how you market
Yeah.
for sure. So I have worked a lot more with buyers.
Okay.
I like it because it's matchmaking, right?
Jordan didn't get you off
Finding
that.
them.
Jordan didn't get you off that. She didn't get you off the wanting to deal with buyers. She didn't break you that habit or anything yet? No.
No, she actually said, she was like, it's honestly a fun challenge because, you think you've seen it all. And then all of a sudden there's this new thing that pops up and you're like, all right, gotta figure it out.
Wow.
But
Wow.
one of the things that drew me to Kirsten is not just that we were working together, but also one of her specialties is working with those that are not W-2 and that are 1099. And so her being able to navigate the self-employed landscape in order to get people into homes, I think is a really big differentiator because oftentimes people at least the realtors that I had worked with, like mostly know how to navigate like W-2 formats. And so with my ex being a musician, he was obviously 1099. And so figuring out how to make those finances work was a big deal. And
Yeah.
Obviously, Kirsten, if you want to talk more to that.
Yeah, and with bank statement loans with entrepreneurs, they don't always file their taxes that matches with their bank account. They can, loan wise, they could be living in, a house less than 200,000, but their bank account reflects that they should be in a $700,000 home. And so I work with clients, or my specialty being in that niche, maybe sometimes 2 years in advance, because I'm also making sure that their taxes, how they're keeping track of things for their profit and loss statements, having clear checks and balances. So by the time they get over to my lender, things roll a lot smoother in preparation, as well as their down payments. Because it comes to a point where they look at an IRS bill or a bank statement loan, where do they want their money to go?
Yeah.
And so we have those conversations. And also, it's really a financial deviant of, okay, make your money work for you as well. So that's where my network of financial planners, attorneys, where I'm making sure that those things are set too for my clients, or at least they're aware of, so that they are fully prepared and financially comfortable of what they're going into.
Gotcha. Isn't it? I mean, but it's a lot easier to find people because for you, Jordan doesn't know. She's like, okay, I want to buy this house. And she goes, all right, how much money do you have? And so you tell her, and then it's like, then you have to go find the money, right? You got to go find the loan, right? I mean, she doesn't have that information. So
No, but I do have a resource of lenders.
yeah,
Great, that have all different programs, because one shoe doesn't fit all, right?
yeah,
In the case of Jordan, we went through all of it. I needed to have lenders by me that
Yeah.
could support that and what would be the best situation for them.
yeah. So
When
did you
she
find?
says it's like matchmaking, she really means it's like matchmaking. Like she has so many people in her network and she'll provide you like she and Jay, I mean, you know, because you work with Laura and other people on your team that are just very very organized. Like
Mhm.
Kirsten is one of the most organized people I've ever met in my life.
Oh,
She's like, okay, you need a lender. Here's three options. Here's why they're different. Here's how they could benefit you. Pick which one like feels the best for you. Or
right.
like any person that you needed to be connected to, she would offer you at least three options and then why they're different and why that matters. And then you can go forward with confidence in what feels best for you within the scope of those options.
Yeah.
But I know, Jay, you as an investor and entrepreneur, well, one, you've kind of based, not kind of, you based your business model off of like apartments, and I just got your book, and I'm really excited to read it to learn more about that. But you know, your approach to investing, and also not just the way you structure your deals, but also looking forward and investing in other areas. You had mentioned, you know, buying real estate and then doing an investor approach that way. Maybe there are some questions that you have about that approach that Kirsten can speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So what I want to do is, and I don't think you have any energy lenders on your portfolio, but if you do, hey, great. I'd love to talk to you about it. Because we need lenders. Everybody's always looking for money, right? And it's either
Yes.
the debt side or the equity side. But also, one of our goals is to, grow our oil and gas assets by raising equity. And we raise, if we raised 100 million or 300 million in the last 3 years, so about 100 million a year in equity,
Okay.
and then we funnel that equity to different buckets, and those 4 different buckets are, Permian Basin assets, non-operated parties that are like ConocoPhillips into that bucket.
Okay.
And our goal is to grow those buckets until it's ready for a sell. So we'll use equity. Yeah, we'll use equity, and then we'll also use debt. And the one thing I know I talked to Jordan about one time, we're on the show, and I was telling her that, raising money at the end of the year for oil and gas is incredible, but the first 6 months really isn't. So what I'd like to do is to, find some properties in other parts of the country and have like a Telluride real estate fund. Let's say I've got a friend out there that lives there and that knows properties really well, and he could send me the properties and we could close, and I either finance them or not. Let's say we don't finance them at first, but these are little, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom at the bottom of the lift that we could rent out. So maybe we buy 10 of them at $1 million in a year, raise that 10 million in equity, and then next year we'll finance them, because it's going to be kind of hard. I mean, our deal's kind of, it's kind of fast, if you will. So we may come out with a Telluride fund, Aspen fund, and ranch fund or something, and just have different buckets that people can invest in. Because our goal is going to be to grow these assets and scale them and sell them in the future. Now, inside these different buckets or asset classes, like a ranch or whatever, it's going to be, just equity first, and then after that we can raise debt. Have 10 properties at $1 million. We've got $10 million worth of properties generating, $1 million a year in cash flow, and then we could finance those 10 properties, but also next year raise more equity.
Okay.
Use it to leverage it. Let's say you get $5 million in leverage, put $5 million in leverage on it, but then also raise another 10 million in more equity, so you can grow the funds. So that's kind of our mantra, if you will, our goals, I guess. You got to have goals. I've talked to Jordan about that a lot. And
For sure.
Yes.
And this is really good to hear, because this is where a lot of my clients are coming to me starting, okay, I want to get into investing. how do I do that, right? And the money and the financing. But I like to take it personally one step further, and maybe that's something I can talk about on here. What my consultations look like when a first time investor is coming to me is not, yes, we're talking about financing, but I'm also talking about liability, such as the importance of putting your investment properties into LLCs or other things and taking it outside of your name. Or if they buy a property and now they're buying, their second home and they want to turn it into a rental, converting that into an LLC so they can separate their assets, right? Because that is a huge thing that my CPA has stressed to me and I share to my clients because of a story he shared with me, which was he had a client who had, a big portfolio, yachts, all of it, right? I guess this was probably about 6, 7 years ago. One of his rental properties, they had a party at the home. The parents had went to San Antonio and the kids threw a party, and there ended up being a shooting. And a young adult, passed, right? Which is very, very sad. And I guess it was all over the news. Come to find out, the kid who died, which was just some random person that showed up at this house, right? The parents sued my CPA's client, actually, and it ended up liquidating all of his assets. They did win. He lost everything. And it was because he had it in his personal name and he didn't differentiate the two. So with this lawsuit, everything was gone for something that obviously was not his fault, really wasn't his tenant per se, because the parents are out of town. And unfortunately a loss of a kid, right? But the financial aspects to the landlord was detrimental. He lost everything.
Wow.
And so me having that network and conversations, I really pull this in when I'm talking with any landlord that I'm representing on the leasing side, or if they're coming to me to want to go that route. Those are the conversations we have. And even if it's not this second, because maybe financially they do not have it, or because they have their assets spread, it's something that I'm giving them the resources to start working on now, because it is really important for them to protect themselves and their family as well, so that they can continue the growth in case the unfortunate happens.
Yeah. Well, that it really is. I mean, going from a yacht and success just because you wouldn't think your kids. Well, maybe you did, but you were hoping that they wouldn't have a party when you were done.
I would never. Oh my God.
And as a landlord, you don't really know the everyday of what's going on with your home, right? And in this case, he had multiple properties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't oversee or be all eyes and ears for your property.
Right.
But that is a very serious, real situation that has happened. And
so this is how you met Jordan, right? Is that she was at the party? No, I'm just kidding.
No way.
Whoa!
No
Hey.
way. No.
Man. Yeah.
But this is interesting because it is really important, like you said, to have an LLC, especially now. There's a new bill that just got passed in Houston not too long ago, where I want to say it was just a few months ago, and it makes the owner of the home liable for any activity that is happening in their Airbnb. So if somebody gets kidnapped and they're being held hostage in your Airbnb, you're liable for that as the owner of that property.
Wow.
If there is a murder that happens on your property, you're liable for that. So it's really important to make sure that you have those safeguards in place, because when there are bills that are introduced and passed, like this one in Houston, you're protected to a certain extent. Obviously, a hit is a hit, and that's going to hurt. But if you are able to protect yourself in some capacity, do it. Now, I've talked to the CPA that you're referring to, and great guy. And one of the things that he did mention as well is like, have the overarching LLC that can have multiple businesses housed within it. But not every business necessarily needs to have its own LLC as long as it's under that umbrella. Like for content creation, there's not really anybody who's liable there, like physically in danger. So that might not necessarily need an LLC. Now, you don't want to get sued for defamation. So it's, where does that lie? Where is that?
And that's where I draw my license. I'm not an attorney, but I have attorneys, people that you can speak with, but to at least get the conversation and the thought going, because a lot of people do not know that could even happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. A lot of, all of my mom, my dad, all immediate, all own their own business and have a lot of rental property in Seattle. And so just recently, my family has went through eminent domain. They took about 15 acres from my family. And so those conversations too look different as well. But every single thing that happens is a learning experience, and no deal is the same.
Wow.
So,
wow. Well, I'll tell you what, that's very important to know. I mean, I had a place south of town, Dallas here, and it was in my personal name. I mean, I didn't really think about it, right? But it was used for ranching and used for, I mean, we went out there, shooting guns and I mean everything. Yeah. So it's like, man, I mean, I was very fortunate that something didn't happen on that property that would have been, hurt my family and could have hurt us obviously forever. So you're right. Mm-hmm. And that's great. I got a random question from Jordan one time. It's like, how do you set up your own LLC? I mean, I know now where she gets this stuff from, Kirsten. That's your fault. But no, it's great.
I still need to do it. I still haven't done it yet. I'm so.
To Zen Business. It is the easiest plug and play way to get your LLC.
Where was it? Where did you say that?
If you want something simple, Zen Business.
Yeah.
.com is a good, easy one, like plug and play. Obviously, I do refer to David Wingant as my attorney a lot because he does do consultations. He's very informative. But if you're just starting out and like you said, you don't quite yet need those big umbrellas and those certain things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Zen Business is a good one to create an LLC.
But the best thing, and I will have to say this real quick, is to make sure that you consult an attorney or a CPA when you're doing your any legal advice. To consult an attorney. Don't call a guy with a name on the board on the building downtown Dallas or Fort Worth or Houston. if all you want to know is a couple of questions, just look up in the book or Google it or Perplexity, whatever, and just find people that can help you, but won't charge you obviously an arm and a leg, sure. But it's very good information to know. It may not. It's one of those things that may not ever happen. Fortunately for me, it didn't on that big ranch I had down in south of Dallas. But you never know, and obviously for
a couple $100 to protect all of your assets. Right. To me, that's a hat in the drop, and so a tax deduction as well doing it. So, and you need all of those you can get sometime.
Absolutely. And I didn't know that the write-offs and everything else is really good too. That's good. Well, so what is another way that you've helped your clients, or what other ways are you out there, or do you feel like that you're better, because there's a lot of realtors. If you look at Realtor and Katy, I'm sure there's quite a few. What is it? What else that makes you stand out?
I'd say definitely my communication. And the examples that I'm giving of communicating why things are different and important, maybe what's not. Also, where my clients, it needs to be a mutual feeling of us working good together, right? I have to be knowledgeable for what they need. And also I want to enjoy who I'm working with. As being an entrepreneur, I like to choose because I don't think of it as just one purchase of a transaction. It's a lifetime thing because I
Right.
am a resource. I do have the database of contractors from, little things to small and intricate. If there's a foundation guy, I mean, I have clients that just reach out, hey, I need my carpet stretched. I got somebody, I'm sending it to you. And so I really think of myself as a Rolodex, and that is comes into fact of my experience. I'm going into my ninth year of real estate, and before that, working for a custom home builder. So I have the knowledge of what a house is supposed to look at behind the walls. And that's a different conversation as well. I love new construction, I should say,
Yeah.
just the intricates. But definitely communication, negotiation. You can't take everybody's thing and apply it to the next. It's really getting to know the person, what their needs and goals are. And that's what I do. That's why I say I feel like it's matchmaking and it's
Right.
fun for me.
That's awesome.
Definitely a customized experience. One of the other things that I think sets you apart is your knowledge of the financial landscape. And one of those other things that you have dived into is helping people with credit repair. So, why did that speak to you, and what made you get involved in helping people fix their credit?
Honestly, I slipped into it. I started doing credit repair for my roommate in college, which happens to be my best friend. She had, I should say, my mom taught me credit by the time I was 16. When I was 15, she got me a credit card with from a local credit union in Seattle. She sat with me for the first, I should say my dad has good credit as well, but I'm just saying my mom is the one that sat with me and said, okay, when I was getting ready to get my license, I got you a $300 credit card. This is what, when you go get gas, this is what you're going to use. And she would sit with me monthly for about 4 months telling me what to pay down. She would tell me the importance, don't pay it all off when we were working on building my credit. So it became a game and something fun to do. And so when I got into college and my best friend had already lived with a guy, he messed up her credit, eviction, all types of stuff. I was like, let me fix your credit. And she didn't care. And so I fixed her credit, and then her credit went up to 700. And I was still going to college, like not even thinking it was that, right? Fast forward, done many of my family members, even my husband when we were dating. And when I got into property management here in Houston with my real estate license, there were so many qualified people that are renting more than mortgages, but they were settling for renting because of their credit score.
Right.
And there was nobody that trusted in the real estate realm, as big as it is, all the realtors. Not a lot of people trust credit repair companies. And so it was like this huge stigma. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna help people. I enjoy it. It's the playing with the symmetrics of it. And that's what got me to open my credit repair company. And I also was thinking as going into becoming a mom and motherhood, it was something that would allow me to also be at home more in those first few years, and still, help and be in the real estate realm as well. And lo and behold, when I put it out there, all of the people who knew me were like, oh, if you're doing it, I trust you. And it just started rolling my way. I didn't have to market based on my character of who I was. And then I started getting asked to speak at different real estate offices, and then it just went from there.
Yeah.
So, Jay, I have a question. When did you learn about credit? Because I had to, I was like a baby fawn on ice learning about credit, all right?
Yeah, that's kind of me too. Well, actually, I learned the hard way, and like we all did, right? I mean, nobody gets a credit card in their hands when they're in their 18, 19, 20 years old. I got my first Sears credit card when I was 19 years old. I was in.
How'd that go?
Oh man, I maxed it out. I mean, and then at the company, I remember one time when this guy said, "Hey, well, I do a lot of things with the company," and he said, "I need a credit card," and so I was like, "Okay, well, I'll give him a credit card. He's a good producer, and he's going to take clients out to dinner," and so I gave him a credit card, and my wife said, "You know what? You need to put a maximum on that of $1,000." And I'm like, why? I mean, this guy's taking clients out to dinner, probably going. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I put a max of 1,000 on it. He had it by the weekend. I mean, it was like by that weekend he already put $1,000 on it because of dinners with clients, which was, I found out later, BS. He left the company, blah blah blah. But anyway, it is what it is. But you know what? I did. I got into a really bad spot after college. I took all my credit cards up. I thought I was going to make this huge commission on a deal that's why I don't like to work on big, huge deals that may or may not ever happen, because this one I thought for sure, no way was it not going to go through. And so I put like, I don't know, 20, 30 grand worth of credit card debt on. Man, I was up there, and the deal did not go through. I know.
Oh, no. You hurt my heart.
I know. I was like,
I don't think I'm the biggest. I think there's a lot more. Hey, put in below, how much debt what's the most credit card debt you've ever had? I know mine was way, way up there. But I just thought, man, I'm partying like it's 1999. This deal's going to come through. I'm going to make 300 grand on this deal that I had. I mean, it was legit. I had a building sold. I was going to get 1% on a $30 million building. I still drive by that building all the time, and I tell my wife, "Hey, you see that building over there?" And she goes, "Shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore." She's heard the story 50 times. I'm like, no. These guys were for real. Burger Chef sold to Burger King. They had $100 million. They had so much money, and they said, "Hey, we're going to buy this building for $30 million." And I couldn't get the people that owned it. It was the California people to California retirement account, Calipers, whatever it is, California retirement. But anyway, they owned it. They wouldn't sell it. This was in 1990, 91 when real estate went bam. I had it sold for $30 million. They didn't take it. They ended up selling it later on for $16 million. I know. Well, 1990 is
tough all the way around. Honestly, that was tough all the way around.
They wish they'd have listened to me, and they'd have given me my 300 grand. That's what they wish they'd have done, but they didn't do it.
But isn't it crazy how when you have those biggest losses is when you learn the most in other aspects that change how you structure your business or different things? You don't see it in the moment, but later on when you think back, those are the ones that actually make the most growth in you as a business owner, right?
Well, we're going to learn, and we'll learn in a minute, resilience is the word of the week, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. I do a word of the week. I do a Bible verse of the week. I do a lot of, but that's resilience, because if I'd have just given up at that point, and gone to work for somebody else, and I'd be a different guy today than I would have been. But resilience is going to be what we're going to talk about in just a minute. Matter of fact, we probably need to go to that momentarily.
Yeah, I think it's about time.
Jordan, do you want to wrap up anything here with your good friend? I mean, you talked about her for a long time. You're like, Jay, we got to get Kirsten's got to be on this show. She's a huge cheerleader, Kirsten. So I want you to know that
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on today.
Man, I tell you what, I don't go anywhere, but I do want you to. I do just want to say, hey, I'm proud to know you, and I'm glad that you've done so good in your space, if you will, and helping other people. and growing your business. I look forward to staying in touch and finding out more about what happens, in the future. So I'm really pumped up about that. Jordan, why don't you?
Yeah, I think
you want to talk about anything else before we go to the five questions.
Yeah, I have, just one question here, Kirsten. When we look at your journey and we look at all of the different ins and outs that we've had, or that you've had throughout your journey, I mean, incredible that you've had such a supportive system and community around you through your family, from your great grandfather initially buying land in Seattle, and like you now multi-generational later, like reaping the benefits still and seeing the success that your family has seen, but also through your career growth and the twists and turns that's taken, all of the different entrepreneurial steps along the way. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
Oh my, that is such a good question. I would say to bet on myself sooner, to trust my instinct, and to just stay focused. Like sometimes you want to do it all, but I truly think starting with one thing and mastering it and then building on it is really how you see traction and success.
That's very good. Yeah.
And in addition to like what you said, a lot of my growth, I really have to be thankful for my family, because those times when you're talking about being resilient, I truly am able to pick up my uncle, my aunties, my mom, my dad, and say, I'm struggling in this part of my business. And because they've all went through it, they may not understand as a realtor, because they're not a realtor, but investing or financing or different pockets of things, they pick up every time.
Mm-hmm.
They tell me this is what they do. And so I say, tap into your resources too. Don't be afraid to ask any question, because no question is dumb.
Yeah. That's great. Great. That's great. It seemed like you learned early, and but a lot earlier than I did. I mean, I still.
I wish my mom had sat me down and said, okay, here's a credit card. It has a $300 limit, buy gas only, and, pay
at the end of the
most
month,
of
pay
it off,
off.
but not all of it. Yeah. Well, because I didn't know when I first got a credit card, Jay, I paid it all off. I would rack up money and then I would pay it all off before the statement.
Wow.
Because I was so nervous about having money in debt on my card, because my family always taught me that debt was really bad. Now, of course, liability debt, bad, right? But asset investment debt, good. I know that now. Mm. But at the time, I was in college, I was so stressed out, and I was loving TJ Maxx. I had opened up a credit card and then I closed it, which I didn't know impacted your credit score. So there was just a lot of little things that, like, I think if I had been sat down and talked through those things, then I would have, been in a different position now. Not that I'm in a bad one.
But it gives you more information. I think that's why when we talk about my mission of creating generational wealth, because I came from it, I didn't know that I was different until I found out later on in life. That was such a normal part of conversations. My aunts and uncle, with my mom owning properties. So on Thanksgiving, they're talking about different things. As a young kid, I'm in title companies. It was my normal. And so, now I have kids, and when they're age appropriate, I'm passing that same thing forward to them.
What is age appropriate to you? Like, when do you think it would be impactful to start teaching your kids about what you learned? Is it about that 12 to 14-year-old mark, or is it sooner?
It is sooner, but it's in way smaller complexes, right? Like, So if they're getting an allowance for making their bed, which my 5-year-old does, she does get an allowance. She gets stars on her chart. We go to 5 and below. This is what you've earned. This is what you have, and you are paying the register.
Yeah.
Now, I know that might be a little bit annoying for people waiting, and if she has to count, but I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the long term. She needs to learn to own money and not let money own her.
I'll tell you what, I didn't
And
have any of that. My dad did the same thing his dad did and just didn't teach anything. I was thinking about credit cards. I was thinking, I can spend $1,000 and only pay $30. Ha! This is the best thing going. Man, this is
That
awesome.
sounds great. I'll take 10.
Hey, let's get to this. We got 8 minutes, and I want to make sure we get to this. Book. This is a roundhouse thing of what we do, Kirsten. I'd love for you to be involved. I didn't prep you for this. Maybe Jordan did a little bit, but this is just questions about.
This is rapid fire.
Yeah. What book are you reading right now? Is there any particular book that you're reading right now?
I just got one. I need to think. I think. You know what? I'm not gonna be quick. I just got it from Amazon delivered.
Did you really? Jordan, anything for you? We'll come back.
Well, Jay, speaking of things that just came in the mail, guess what I just received? The upside of oil and gas investing.
Man, there's some money right there, baby. You need to make sure you study that.
And I was such a fangirl. I opened it up and then I pulled the book out and I was like, if he didn't write anything in this book, I'm gonna have to bring it up. Open it up to the best co-host. Thank you so much for being on the Jay Young Show. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
Awesome. That's great.
So that's definitely on the list.
We
all right, Kirsten, what book are you reading?
Yeah, we need to hear updates.
Referred from my real estate broker, and it's First Impressions, What You Don't Know About How Others See You.
Oh, wow. I like that. Very nice.
And very important. Very important in obviously with real estate. I think about that more than anything else. I mean, there's always these good-looking people on the web about who's in real estate, or you watch these real estate shows. My daughter watches some, and I mean, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Sunsets.
Yeah. Crazy. We saw them in Cabo one time. We were at the Hacienda. They were just lined, and I was like, there's these in these bathing suits that were small as I could, than my billfold, and
yeah.
And I'm like, who are those people? My daughter goes, those are real estate agents. I go, anyway, never mind. Yes, I
was like, Jay.
Let's don't go there. I know.
Let's not get you in trouble with your wife.
We'll be here all day. Yeah, we'll be here all day, and I'll be in trouble with my wife. And I've got to go to the Ranger game tonight. Rangers are playing tonight. But anyway, so I'm reading a book called The Deceived, Brett Battles. It is fiction. I am reading a fiction book, which I do.
I was about to say.
I know. I'm reading the Bible in the mornings. I wake up. Okay. I wake up early. I'm reading a chapter in the Jesus book by Jack Graham, and I read in the Bible, or I listen to an audiobook on the Bible app that I have, Bible Chat. I listen to the Bible, try to hear a story, a chapter in the Bible, but then at night when I go to bed, I get my iPad out and I read a chapter or two of fiction, and I don't know. It helps me wind down. Or if I wake up late at night, if I wake up at 3 and can't go back to sleep, I'll read it to get my mind off if my mind's going 1,000.
Well, Jay, you have your nonfiction in the morning, and then you have your fiction at night, and this is just called balance.
Yeah, try to balance, man. I tell you, I'm 100%. All right, is there anything in particular you're listening to, a podcast or anything, music, audiobook, anything inspiring right now? Kirsten, you first.
Inspiring. I will constantly turn on like the Tony Robbins podcast.
Yeah.
There's something good on there.
He's awesome.
Especially if you have like a low week of sales, that listening to that will switch your mind right back where it needs to be. Yeah. He's got a great story growing up too. It's really, really talk about resilience and talking about, somebody that just didn't give up. Tony Robbins for sure. Great guy. Maybe you'll put the Jay Young Show on there on that list sometime. Jordan, anything you're listening to besides the Jay Young Show?
I actually have been listening to Mel Robbins. She has popped up on my Instagram feed a few times, and my sister is going through this massive breakup. She was with this person. It's the Soto family breakups is what's happening. I'm like,
Oh,
all right, my other
man.
sister who's engaged. I'm like, no, don't go there.
Wow.
But anyway, so Mel Robbins did an episode about getting over how to get over a breakup, and so I just wanted to learn some key pieces of like understanding. While I went through my own breakup, I don't know, I felt like mine was very amicable, and like we just realized like we weren't meant for each other, and that's okay, and there can still be love there. But with her, I don't know exactly what her journey is looking like, and so I wanted to learn how to support her, and I wanted to learn about how our brain works through breakups so that I could help be that big sister and kind of guide her through that. And so listening to that was actually very, very helpful. It was the Mel Robbins, How to Get Over a Breakup. And she interviews her daughter who went through this, nearly a decade long relationship breakup. And it was really inspiring and,
Wow.
and helpful.
Mel Robbins. Wow. So Mel Robbins, and then you have Tony Robbins. I need to
I don't
find.
think they're related.
I don't think they're related either,
or married.
Yeah. All right. Hey, well, I mean, I listen to a lot of things, but I listen to, I think the Fort podcast, which is one of my favorites. Listen to I do a Joel Osteen story. I listen to Open Book
Okay.
with Anthony Scaramucci. I listen to, so he's got some great material. He was on the show at one time, Anthony Scaramucci, or the Mooch, as they call him,
The Mooch.
and the Mooch. Ed Milet's another good one. That's about it right now. I mean, there's also a lot of Grant Cardone stuff that I'll catch.
Yeah, Grant Cardone is great.
Yeah.
The 10X theory is
Yeah.
awesome.
What TV show? Any particular TV show right now that you're watching? Any real estate TV shows, Kirsten?
Selling Sunsets. No, she's watching her own show.
Yeah, I don't watch TV much. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, kids. Yeah,
yeah,
kids and
my kids are, what's that one? K-pop came out. They're
Oh, the K-pop Demon Slayer, is that what you're?
they like
Yeah.
the little song and or Coco Melon. I mean, it's not.
Coco
Yeah.
is very popular right now.
Yeah, for reference, I have 5 and 4-year-olds. So
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
fair.
That's right. Exactly. I know that, man. I watched. There was a movie. We had the 8-track or the VHS, I guess, and then it came on disc, and it was the Cat in the Hat with.
Oh yes, that was so good.
Cat in the Hat with what's the guy's name that was on that? That was
Jim Carrey?
no, Cat in the Hat. Oh my gosh, it was
Ask Perplexity, Jay.
it was incredible. I'm trying to think. I'll think of it in a second. But we watched it 300 times. I bet I could name you different scenes from that right now. But anyway, when you have kids, your ideas change for sure on what it is. All right, any word of the week this week is resilience. And I did a recording on it earlier talking about resilience. What is resilience to me? And I think it's about not giving up. It's hey, you know what? Yeah, I know you get knocked down 7 times, you get up 8. It's like you're not gonna. I tried not to give up on that $300,000 commission, but it was out of my control. But I was pretty resilient about it, but it was, but it is. It's about people that, like my Eagle Scout. I got my Eagle Scout when I was, 15 years old, and they said make sure that any Boy Scout at the time, scouting now, and girls can get Eagle Scouts just like young men can at this age, in this world. Back then, we had a couple of people that I was going with to get my Eagle Scout, and I did, and there was a couple that didn't. And I'm like, I'm no different than these guys, but they give up. I didn't. There was some obstacles in my way, but I did not give up. So that was incredible. Bible verse of the week. I know I got to go because they're starting to put the curtains up on us. But I'm going to say the Bible verse of the week for resilience is Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That's God talking about, hey, resilience, and he's always with you, and he will always be with you. So until next time, I want to say great to my beautiful ladies that I have on today, Kirsten and Jordan. Thank you so much for being here. And it is episode 181, not 180. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. Click below to subscribe. Hit Kirsten up if you're looking for real estate anywhere in the country. I'm sure she'll travel, but mostly she's an expert in Houston, and she'll do anything she can to help you. So thank you very much. Everybody have a pleasant day.